try. After 2 months, I managed to sell 2 or 3 policies, and actually I made a few hundred ringgit. It's more than the 220. And after 6 months, I find that I was earning about 1,000 over a month. So I told my father one day, I was back in Batam, that I want to quit, I don't want to work in the bank, I can earn more in life insurance. My dad said, no, my son, bank job very prestigious, life insurance salesman no work. So I told him, he said, you better stay a bit longer. You stay 10 and 6 months, maybe you'll change your mind, because maybe by then nobody wants to buy insurance from you. So I said, okay, Dad, I'm a good son, you know. So sometimes I must tell my children this story so that I hope they'll be good sons. So I stayed on for another few more months. So after 1 year, I said, that's it. I told my dad, that's it, I'm leaving. I'm going to sell life insurance full time. So that time I joined the bank at 18 years old. 19 years old, I left. Because all of us, at 17 plus, we finished Form 5 those days. Those was English medium. And then 18, I start work. After 1 year, I go to life insurance full time at the age of 19. And while I was there, I did very well. And when I was 21, after 2 years, I was promoted to an agency manager. So at that time, if I remember, I was supposedly the youngest agency manager at the age of 21, so I was very happy. And then one day I took a client to a doctor for examination, and then there was a magazine there. This was 1973. So the magazine is Time magazine, and then the cover is the burger that conquered the country. So medical takes time. So the guy was inside, so I was reading a bit of it. And then he talks about McDonald's, how fantastic they've done in America, they conquered America, they're doing so well. And then they are expanding overseas. So I remember the names of McDonald's. So I called the US Embassy. Can you give me the address of McDonald's? So I got the address. So I wrote to them. I was 21 years old, 1973. I born in 1952. So I said, wrote to them and said, at that time, A&W was in Malaysia, and Kentucky Fried Chicken was in Malaysia. So I wrote to them and said, you should come here because A&W is here, Kentucky Fried Chicken is here, McDonald's, you should come here. And they said, no, we are not interested. But I didn't give up. Every month I send them something about Malaysia, about KFC, about A&W. I sent them actually every week initially. After they wrote to me, please don't send anymore. Then I thought, maybe every week is too. Where I invest money, don't say postage is not cheap. I said, it's okay. So then I sent them once in 2 weeks. Then they wrote and said, don't send please. You're sending too many things. Then I decided I will send once a month. And I did that for 7 years. 7 years. Remember? With persistence. But some people don't like that. Persistence can make people upset. So, at the end of the 7th year, I got a letter from them that they invite me to the opening of McDonald's in Singapore. That was 1980. So I went to the opening. But thought maybe they invite many Malaysians. I found out that I was the only Malaysian they invite. And then when they saw me, they said, hey, young man, I think our international department, all of us know about you. So then I learned that in advertising, it's called top of the mind awareness. You cannot remember that. You can't forget the guy, he bothers you every week. And then after that, once in 2 weeks, and then once a month, for 7 years. I tell you, I don't want to receive letters like that. So they invited me, and then they told me, in 2 months' time, we'd like to come to Kuala Lumpur. Can you meet us at the airport? Can you arrange 2 cars for us? 8 of us are coming. So I arranged 3 cars. Because at that time, I was doing quite alright. I was doing life insurance. I did well. At that time, I was also started other business. After 31 years old, so after 7, 8 years. So when they came, I arranged 3 cars, picked them up and everything. So they had many interviews. So I was the first interview. After the interview, I understand they interviewed another 20 different people. And then after 2 days, the third day they were going back. Then they were going back, they said, okay. Then they told me, we interviewed everyone. We all decided that we want to make you our partner. I was overjoyed. I was, I think, 28 years old. And that was 1980. They made me their partners. Which means, and they say, we like to set up joint venture company. We want to give the local 51%. So I have 51%, they have 49%. So I became a partner of McDonald's, and they told me that I have to go for 9 months training. So it was very interesting. So when it was all ready, we signed. I went to their headquarters called Oak Brook. Oak Brook is in the suburb of Chicago. I went there, signed a joint venture agreement, no lawyers. How to go and give the time for a lawyer? I said, whatever you give me, sign such a lot. Because they are large corporation, why would they want to cheat an individual like me? But anyway, it was a fair and reasonable agreement because that's the philosophy of the company, it will be fair and reasonable. And then I went for training. I remember one of the training, I was in Hong Kong. I was outside the restaurant, I was cleaning the window. So someone passed through, the Malaysian friend recognized me. Hey, what are you doing here? Why are you cleaning window? I had to stop and explain to him. I'm trying to get this franchise, and this is part of the test to see whether I qualify or not. Oh, he said, I find it so strange. You're cleaning window and I walked past and saw you. So, to cut a long story short, I started McDonald's. I think it did quite well. And then after that, my big break was in 1983, I think. I think 83, when you read, I read the Millennial Penny Newspaper. At that time, I remember it was a Millennial letters to the editor. There's a lot of complaint about sports toto. They said this organization is supposed to help sportsmen, this, that, it's terrible, it didn't do enough, this and that. So there was a lot of complaints. I read that. I said, this company is interesting. Maybe I should try to buy this company. And to cut a long story short, I did make an effort and I managed to buy the company. Because at that time, there was this privatization program in Malaysia. If you are the first to make an offer, you have a chance, you have the first shot at it. So I managed to buy Sports Auto. I paid 24 million. They were quite tough. The people negotiating from Ministry of Finance, they want 24 million. Actually, the company only paid 300,000. It shouldn't be 24 million, but they know that they're thinking under a non-Muslim ownership, we should know how to make it well. Because at that time, Magnum was doing quite well. So 24 million. I don't have 24 million. So I managed to find out that this organization called Central Cooperative Bank, CCB. So I approached them. The CEO was a nice guy. He's a nice guy, very good guy. He loaned, I told him about what I'm doing. Our government is willing to sell me this. And I said, this will be a great business. I said, they want 24 million. So I asked, can you loan me 24 million? I did the 100% loan. Guess what? So I got lucky again. They loaned me 24 million. But this guy was very, very nice. He's a good guy. I think everybody asked him for a loan, he gave, and in the end, CCB got into trouble. Nice guy cannot be bankers, So I got the loan. But when they got in trouble, of course, the bank, they're gonna come in and all this. So of course, my name there, one of the borrower. Guess what? Because after that was a few years later, Soto did very well. Oh, paid off the whole loan. So that time I remember I met the governor, he said, you're very good. Of all, you're the first one to pay back the loan. I see in my heart, I say, yeah, because I bought a good company, so I got lucky. So I paid off the loan. So that was a big break. And then, of course, there were many other good breaks. I got the Starbucks franchise in 1997. Then I started DG. I don't know whether you all know that I started DG. You're probably a subscriber to DG. I started it. And then during I started DG like in 1989 or 1990. And then in 1997, we have this Asian crisis, you all know. So because of the Asian crisis, I was building Times Square and doing many other things. So when the Asian crisis happened, some of you will remember the older one that the bank interest in Malaysia went up as high as 25%. So Times Square, the bankers also hold on the loan, and the contractor want to stop. So I tell the contractor, don't stop. You continue, I will find the money. So after look here, I said, finally, I have to sell DG to, you know. And at that time, DG was valued at 4 billion. So Times Square was a joint venture with my younger brother called, he's also, Times Square Danny Tan, he's owned this company called Tropicana. So we were partners, so he was in trouble. So he said, you know, you sell this, you can help to fund it, you can take over the whole thing, you know. I sell my shares to you. I sold for 4 billion. The company value, I make 2 billion. So when I was hesitating, my brother said, hey, this is a crisis. Who in the world can make 2 billion? It was so lucky, quickly sell. 8 years later, 9 years later, DG was worth 40 billion. So I said, I make 20 over billion less. I said, oh, I'm rugi. So my friend said, what rugi? No, we make less. So it's a way, a lucky break, but I don't know whether it's lucky or not. So there were many other things that I did. And then we went overseas, we went to many countries. I went to the hotel business. I don't play golf, but we have many golf courses. At that we have almost 7 golf courses. But I don't play golf at all. I love the sea, I go snorkeling, I go diving. So first hotel was in Tioman, because Tioman is a beautiful island, you can dive and all this. Then after that, I did many other hotels. Now I think we have hotels in many countries, including even in Iceland. We have 14 hotels in Iceland, because we bought the hotel from the national airline. The government tells the national airline, hey, you guys don't get involved in the hotel, sell off your hotel and focus on the airline. So I managed to buy that. So I did many other things. And I was fortunate. Of course, there were other things. And then I got into football club. So I bought Cardiff. I bought the football club. I still own Cardiff 100%. I own 100% of KVK football club in Belgium. It's also in the Premier League. And then another one in Bosnia. Bosnia, I used to own 100%. Then the Vietnamese tycoon wants to buy and offer me a good price. I sold to him. I actually made 6 million euro. I invested 6 million euro and sold to him for 12 million. After 3 years, he gave up. He said, no, he said he doesn't want. He just went off, and the management called me, Mr. Vincent, can you please help? Can you come back? So I said, okay. So I'm back. But I said, can you look for another partner? I will come back for half. Look for, so when they managed to get a Bosnian American, I met him, nice guy, so he has half, I have half. So I have 2.5 football club. It's a terrible business. Football club is a terrible business, but it's terrible because I didn't do well. But I know many owners did very well. You know, the owner of Liverpool is an American. He also owns a baseball and American football. He bought Liverpool for 300 million pounds. He's offered 3 billion and he doesn't want to sell. The Glazer brothers bought Manchester United for 600 million. They sold 25% at a valuation of almost 6 billion. So I said, football club, terrible business. You tell them this was a football club, very good business. So one man's meat, another man's poison. But I haven't given up yet. Of course, my family member always sell your God. So maybe I give you 1 or 2 more years. If I cut it up to Premier League, we went up to Premier League twice. I'm sure you all know. When you're in Premier League, you can visit Malaysia. And ini kerajaan tak bayar lah. Vincent tak sponsor saja. You all remember when we were playing Premier League, you can watch how we play with MU or Man City, selalu kalah lah. How to fight those? I always joke. We race with them, we fight all they discuss. They use Lamborghini and we use Proton race dengan dia macam mesti kalah lah. You know how to race. So, so this is my experience in football club, and of course I got involved in many other businesses, 7-Eleven, Starbucks, and many other businesses. So, but I just want to tell you other things that I do. I'm a member of this Buddhist organization called Tzu Chi Foundation. I think some of you know, maybe some of you haven't heard. But it is a great organization that only focuses on charity. You know, it doesn't tell you to pray and do all this a lot, but it tells you to do good things, to help people. And one of the things that Master, the founder, proposed, that he promoted a lot is, this is his quote, her quote, she's a nun. The leader is a nun, a lady. So I accept this lady as my master, Lady Nun. And her famous quote is, all living beings' lives are precious. We must accept that living beings, their lives are precious. So we shouldn't eat them. So the message is, be a vegetarian. And he told me one time when I first met him, he said, you'll be very good, you'll become a vegetarian. Somehow or other, when he told me this, it touched my heart, and I told myself, so I told her I would try to be a vegetarian. But on the way back, I was on the private jet, and the stewardess asked, what would you like for dinner? We have this. So I said, do we have vegetarian food? He said, yes. Tzu Chi gave us some vegetarian food. I said, I will have vegetarian food. From that day onward, I became a vegetarian, and it's more than 9 years now. I'm a vegetarian. So the message is, no living beings have to die, no fish, no crab, no prawns, no chicken, no lamb, and no cow have to die for me after that. I'm vegetarian. I only have one more vegetarian in my family, my granddaughter. None of my children and everybody else, nobody are vegetarian. My son told me, like that, you become vegetarian when you're 63. Now I'm 72. When we are 63, we'll become vegetarian. I can't argue with that, right? So I just want to say, living a vegetarian is very healthy. I'm 72 years old. I think I'm fairly healthy. I could be healthier, but then I have a lot of stress in my business too. So I look after my health by being a vegetarian. Of course, I exercise. by walking on the treadmill. How I walk in the treadmill, I have a big television screen if I'm aware treadmill. So I watch movies. So my entertainment, I watch movie maybe twice or 3 times a week sometimes. So if the movie is 2 hours, I walk 2 hours. If you watch Bollywood, sometimes 3 hours. Some good Bollywood movie, 3 hours. Most of the time, 3 hours. And quite good Bollywood is actually a lot of plots, quite interesting. So that's my exercise, and of course I swim a lot, but I like to go to the island and swim, and I dive a lot. But then a year ago, I broke one of my eardrum. So the doctor said, ENT specialist said, no more, cannot die. Just snorkel and block, use a earplug to block your ear when your water don't get in. So that's what I do, and I want to tell you a little bit more about Tzu Chi. So So through Suji, I visited Taiwan. Actually, I've never been to Taiwan. But Suji said we have got a school there. They want me to go and visit. So I make an effort. I went and I brought my family members along. So we visited with some Suji members. We went to Taiwan to visit Suji Center. And because they have a Suji set up a school for about 300 students. Who are the students? The children of the stateless. They are stateless. They cannot go to government school. And Suji said, if they don't come up with a school, most of them will be illiterate. So Suji built a school. I went. I was very impressed. The children were dressed in nice uniform. They were singing songs in the Bahasa Malaysia, in Chinese, and in English. I was very impressed. And then we spent almost the whole day there. I stayed a night in Taiwan. So I want to say that was quite an eye-opener because when I visited the village, they all live on steel in the water. And the steel also look quite flimsy. When many of us walk on the platform, it actually moves, you know. So we have to say, hey, everybody slow down. We go one by one slowly, because just in case the thing collapses on the there, there was quite a number of us going in. And then I did the same in Taiwan. I went in 2017. Then last year I went to Sandakan and visited. And this place we visited, you have the stateless children. They were scrounging in the rubbish. You know this. The rubbish dump or landfill they call it, but they just dump the rubbish and they go and try to look for things valuable that they can sell, and sometimes even food. Oh, it's quite a sad sight. I thought Malaysia we are quite a rich country, so it was quite a moving sight to look at it. And so I did raise with some of your state leaders here. I said the government have to do something for this. For example, how many schools can we build? I think Suji built 6 or 7. Suji actually asked permission to do more. So in fact, recently they approached me to help me to talk to the Minister of Education to get a few more schools for them to build. And so I talked to the Minister to help. I happen to know her, this YB Fatilina. So she's trying to help and give permission to build more schools. You want to do charity, you need permission. And I think this is great because a lot of them will at least have education, can read and write, and at least they can play a good, well, they are already here. They may be stateless. They can't go back to where they come from. They don't even have papers. Philippines don't recognize them as citizens also. So they are here. Of course, I suggest to my friends in government that government should consider to bring them in as they give them permanent residence or as citizens. Of course, there are some quarters who worry that they have to vote and that this can sort of upset the balance of power in the state. So I said maybe you all should consider this. Let them be citizens of PR, permanent residence, with the condition that they cannot vote. I don't think they're interested in voting. I don't think they're interested in politics. All they want is their children can study, if they can have a decent job. And I think on humanitarian ground, we all should support that. I'm sure all of you, you're broad-minded, you think about fairness and equality and, being kind and compassionate. All of you will support a move like this. Something for you all, leaders, future leaders or current leaders of Sabah to think about. Personally, I think they should be given some documents and papers so that they can work properly, they can study in a proper school. So I think this that you are supportive of this, and thank you very much. I'm not Sabah. I'm Malaysian. We are all Malaysians. We are one country. And I want to say Sabah is a great state. You have a lot of opportunity. God bless Sabah with beautiful island, beautiful water. Tourism is big here. And those days we have a hotel called Palace, no, the name called Palace. I also don't understand why we sell it. That was a stupid thing we did. So we now have to come back to buy a hotel or build a hotel, and we go buy one, build one, or build several. I will do it. Because Sabah is great. Some of you may know we have a proposal, we have an agreement with the Khazanah Sabah to build a new airport in Kimanis. So this happened because there was a dinner I had with your state leaders, and then they said, oh, because many people commented. So I said, your airport is so crowded, people complain they have to wait 2-3 hours sometimes to clear immigration. They say, oh, we want to build a new airport. But Putrajaya said, no, 8 to 10 years. So I was there and I suggested, I said, hey, why do you need to wait 8 to 10 years? Let me build it for you. I can build for you, I can join venture with Khazanah and build a new airport. And that's how it happened. So we actually have a signing ceremony. I'm sure some of you read the press release there. So of course, we are still working to try to finalize this to get the federal to approve. So federal, some people got views, some people got certain views. First they want to put up the money. We want to build. Oh, they got a bit of reservation here and there. But I believe we can overcome it. And inshallah, we'll build the airport for Sabah as soon as possible. And the airport is very important. Currently, your airport has only got one runway. You know what is the risk of one runway? I'm sure you all read there were collision once. SIA airplane has a collision. I think it was in Seoul. They take almost 1 week to remove the plane. A plane is not like a lorry or a truck that you can remove easily. Plane is huge. It took several days to remove. And this has happened in a few airports around the world. Can you imagine? I mean, touch wood, so far it hasn't happened here. But for example, if something like this happened, the plane has a minor collision or whatever, and the plane is stuck in that runway, the airport will be closed for a few days. Can you imagine? For a few days, no plane can land, no plane can take off. But of course, you have airport in other places like Tawau. Maybe everybody can go to Tawau and take off. Then Tawau will be overloaded. Tawau, whatever other airport you have. So the message is, you need a new airport with 2 runways. So that, and then this will do a lot of tourism. Then they can serve double or triple the people. And the current airport has got 900 acres of land. When the airport goes on, then 900 acres of land you can develop. You can double or triple the number of hotels in Sabah. And employment, you have full employment. One is better employment, the salaries will have to go up. So good for Sabah. And then the other thing that I want to say is, I started this foundation. I got a foundation called Better Malaysia Foundation. We do a bit here and there, not a lot. But a foundation that I recently started last year is called Yayasan My First Home. Now what we want to do with this is, what I want to do with this foundation, I started it. I donated 6 million to start, and we are still learning how to do this. We want to use a foundation like this to help B40s to own their first home, first house. Now, if you check, a lot of people who are free to earn 3,000 or 4,000 and below, most of them don't own a house unless they have parents or relatives who can help them to own. But most of them rent a house. In Klang Valley, in Kuala Lumpur, many rent a house. Some rent a house for 10 years, 20 years. Then you ask them, mengapa you sewa rumah lama sangat? Apa boleh buat bos? Tak mampu beli rumah, down payment susah. I said, sekarang down payment 100%. So you know what happened? Even 100% down payment, they still need money. They still need 10,000 to up to 15,000 to move into a house, even though the bank gives you 100,000. I have the 100% loan. You know why? You need to pay the legal fees. That is deposits and this and that. So it's up to 12,000, 15,000. So our foundation help many people with this. We don't give them the money. We tell them, look, we lend you the money, but interest free. Tak ada bunga. You bayar as you mampu lah. Kalau you boleh bayar 50 ringgit pun boleh, 100 ringgit a month boleh. So we lend them this money so that they can then move into their house. And of course, they try to borrow from friends, relatives they cannot get, and they know about us. They came to Yayasan, my first home. So we did a lot of that. And there was one case where we helped 7 families. They were in the squatters, and then the squatters, the government gave the land to a developer, they built apartments. And then the apartments were sold to these people who live in the squatters, 65,000. But you outsiders have to buy the apartment at 165,000. They gave them 100,000 discount as a squatter. 7 families couldn't even borrow 65,000. Can you imagine? The bank don't want to lend them. So fortunately, one of the staff in the housing company know about us and phoned us and asked our people whether can we help these 7 families. They are all Bumiputras, and whether we can loan them 65,000. When I heard about it, I said yes, loan them 65,000. The interest free, but they have to pay back. So they pay back, we say you can pay 100, 200, 300. Some even offer to pay 300, 400. But it will take many years, but it doesn't matter. The point is, we help them, and they own the property worth 165,000 for 65,000. So you remember, they got the equity already, they got wealth of 100,000. So this is very important. The organization helped them. So we are going to do a big fundraising. I got some of my companies have committed to donate 50 million to this foundation. I will personally donate more. And then we'll try to get some of my friends, the rich people want to donate. So we're going to use this foundation to help more low-income people to own a house. Owning a house is very important. If you have staff who rent house, you try to help them to own a house. You know, whether you give them some loan or whatever, interest free or whatever. It is very important that they don't rent a house for too long. You know, most landlords are rich, and the guy who rent the house, if he keep renting, he will never get out of that poverty level. And he won't be able to own a house, because after a while, after 20 years of renting, he'll find it impossible to buy a house already. Then he'll get on with age. You only have a few years left in working, so you can't buy a house. We want all Malaysians, like what Singaporean has achieved. Singapore is 100% home ownership. 80% live in HDB flat, 20% expensive condo and landed properties. Malaysians must help Malaysians to own houses, especially the low income. I always say this, we will have a good country to live if we take care of the poor. Because you can be rich, big bungalows, big villas. If the poor are very bad shape, one day they will get angry, we may not be safe. You may have to have barbed wire in your house, hire armed guard. You don't want to do that. You know, in Japan, they sleep, they don't even lock their doors. You know, sometimes they go out, their doors is not even locked. So, that kind of society is what we all aspire to be. And to do that, we must take care of the poor. Then only all of us, middle class and upper class and the rich, can have peace of mind. And then the poor have a house, they don't have to be homeless, they are happy. Everybody is happy, we will have a great country to live in. We all want to live here. Ini tanah tumpah darah kita semua. We want to live here and we want to die here. So ladies and gentlemen, this is a little bit of keynote address I have. Thank you very much. You want to come up and ask some questions?
Thank you so much, Sri. We would like Diego to just invite you to